Facebook has become one of the largest advertisers here in the United States. It's where companies big and small all go to advertise their business, their products, whatever it is. Facebook can get you in front of the people you need to be in front of. But unfortunately, according to a new class action lawsuit, Facebook might actually be favoring, no surprises, large corporations as opposed to smaller businesses who are paying the same amount. Joining me now to talk about this lawsuit is Scott Hardy from Top Class Actions. Scott, lay this one out for us. This is a pretty interesting story. If what's alleged in this lawsuit turns out to be true, what's happening here?
Sure. Yeah, it's interesting on a couple of levels as a small business owner myself. And you've got Facebook, and of course, all of us do some advertising in some way, shape, or form on Facebook. You know, we've got 130,000 Facebook fans, and we want to reach them. But Facebook now has changed the algorithm. So if you want to reach all of your audience or a big portion of it, you have to pay them. Even if everybody is following you on Facebook, they still will not show it to all of your viewers because they're trying to obviously get paid for having that platform. Now, usually when you're buying advertising on Facebook, it goes on a bid system. And so if you want to go ahead and advertise to one subset of consumers, then you can go ahead and bid, up to $1, $5, whatever it is per click. You could also have a budget set up that will just start showing ads. And if you're bidding the right amount, then your ad should be showing up. Well, you have these three companies, two firearms manufacturers and one company that sells ammunition and jewelry. Well, they were both shut down as Facebook advertisers. And Facebook says it's because you're running firearms related ads. Well, what these folks are saying is, we're running the same types of ads as big companies that are actually paying Facebook a whole lot more money. So even though we might bid more, or even though we're trying to advertise and we're selling the same types of things, Facebook is banning us from actually posting ads and not posting our ads while they are posting those ads for the exact same types of companies who just spend a heck of a lot more money on Facebook, which of course is just, it's unfair and not right. You can't go ahead and say you can't post ads on this because they're firearms or ammunition related or whatever the case is, but then have somebody else who pops up with, I'm just making a number up here, $1 million ad budget and go, hey, we're good friends. You've got a lot of money. Let's go ahead and figure this out.
So it's not, if Facebook were to come out and say, look, nobody can advertise firearms or ammunition. And if they applied that across the board, we wouldn't necessarily be having this conversation today. If that is part of their terms of service, you cannot advertise firearms, fantastic, great, we'll move on. But the fact that other larger companies, as you say, are able to advertise these same products in the same manner, but these companies have been told, nope, you can't do it because of what you're advertising. And I know a lot of our viewers probably say, okay, well, good, we don't want people advertising for guns. Look, I'm no fan either. However, the rules have to be applied equally. If you're going to tell one group you can't do this, you have to tell all groups you can't do this, but that's not what's happening here. So this is essentially a form of discrimination by telling these small businesses that, hey, you can't do this, but it's totally okay if a multi-million-dollar company does what we're telling you is not allowed on our forum. This seems pretty straightforward. I mean, Facebook absolutely seems to be in the wrong on this issue.
Right, and it's something that we see when we're dealing with big companies, whether it's Google or Facebook. You run amiss of their advertising policies, or they think you run amiss and they just block you. And now as a small advertiser myself, you try to escalate it, but I don't have a dedicated Facebook rep. I don't have a dedicated Google AdWords face rep or Google AdWords rep. So, we ran afoul of the law reporting on class action lawsuits. So we're reporting on class action lawsuits regarding some sex toys. Now, we don't sell sex toys, not my business, not planning on getting into it. But Google said, hey, we're not going to show ads on these pages because you are violating our ad policies. And we're like, hey, no, we're not. We're not pushing the sex industry by any way, shape, or form. We're just informing people about class action lawsuits affecting these specific devices. I escalated that up. Oh, sorry, we're still not going to show ads on those pages. You're out of luck. But when you have a whole lot of money and you're a big company, you get your own dedicated reps and you can try to finesse things so they will understand that you're not breaking the rules. Now, Facebook has had a huge crackdown on gun-related posts on Facebook, and specifically, they used to have Facebook groups dedicated to selling guns. So you could go ahead and join this group, and it was buy, sell, trade firearms. Now, they've said, no, we're not going to be involved with firearms, ammunition anymore. If you do this, you're going to be dropped. So they've canceled and eliminated those Facebook groups and done their best. They still pop up on occasion, but then they get blocked pretty quickly. So if you're going to take that stance, like you said, if you're going to take that stance and you're not going to allow different, even, one of these is a jewelry manufacturer, and it might involve, used shells, gun shells, I don't know. But if you're going to take that stance with the small jewelry manufacturer and these other manufacturers, you've got to take that stance with the big guys that are giving you a whole lot more.
Right. Anytime rules are applied only to one specific subset, whether it's people, businesses, whatever it is, if the rules only apply to a specific subset, then that is, textbook, by definition, discrimination. This seems like it's going to be a pretty slam dunk case for these advertisers here. But for more on this issue, follow the link in the description of this video, head on over to topclassactions.com, and while you're there, make sure you sign up for their weekly newsletter, one of the best resources available for consumers to arm themselves with the knowledge they need to know about. Scott Hardy with Top Class Actions, thank you very much for talking with us today.
You're welcome. Thanks for your time, Farron.